Welcome to the Galactic Lounge podcast. Today's speakers will be your host, Horror Docs, Garrison, and Mushy Gazelle. Today's topic is on enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Galactic Lounge podcast. Today is the 8th episode in the season. Getting down to it. Today we got this podcast called Digital Horror. It'll make sense in a second because we're going to be talking about analog horror. Haha, that was actually a joke.
What?
So let's get to it, man. Okay. What do you guys know about analog horror? Let's start with that.
Absolutely nothing.
That's a great
Yep.
start.
I know quite a bit. I'm pretty interested in my YouTube recommend a few of them.
Yeah, I like a bit of it. I'm certainly opinionated on it, though. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Any ones of you know of off the bat?
Any analog horror
Any of the
series?
Yeah.
Well, from what I know, it started from Five Nights at Freddy's VHS, right?
Yo.
And I know the Mandela catalog, and what else do I know? I guess there's some SCPs. I don't really know much more than that.
Okay, yeah, I know what analog horror is. I know what analog
I don't think
horror is.
I don't think
My
SCP is
bad.
analog horror.
It is
SCP
kind of
is more
starting to turn
ARG.
into it,
ARG.
but because they are releasing games now for it.
Yeah,
But-
that's an ARG then.
Oh, I know another
Yeah.
one. Local 58.
Oh, yeah, Local 58. Yeah, that is pretty
Yeah,
spicy
I
sometimes.
guess we'll start off with I guess one technically that is an analog horror because there's no ARG aspects, but everybody forgets about this one is you guys know Petscop?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that one?
I liked it. It was a little bit boring at times, but I pretty much know it from game theory.
Yeah.
Game theory and Pyrocynical.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that those guys kind of just dumb it down enough so you can get the overall gist even after watching it. Because sometimes you miss the little details and it's like,
Yeah. It was around. I think I might have said in the Halloween podcast, but in it was May or April of the start of the pandemic. But I sat down and I watched this dude's whole series, going through every little bit of it. And when I just finished it Petscop had just ended.
Oh yeah.
And it was getting all ripped and stuff.
Funny.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
Compared to the other ones, but I guess we'll go on to Mandela catalog. It's pretty new.
Yeah. It's mysterious. Mysterious factor is pretty good, I think, but not really much story yet.
Right now I'm kind of disappointed by it. I'm not even gonna lie. Watching it all was a couple days ago of recording, but it was not good because there was no aspect. Why are you doing this? There's no story.
Yeah, it's creepy, but there's just no story.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no build up to anything, I'd say, but it's definitely not really that creepy. It's more mysterious. That's kind of for all of them, though.
Yeah.
Got another one written down.
Actually,
What?
maybe SCP could be considered one because they don't just have like a CP whatever classifications. They actually do have entire stories, I guess you could call them, like entire written up full plot line actual hardcore stories that are like almost book sized, like not that are
Yeah,
content creator based. That I mean, some of
fan
those are pretty
fictions.
good. Not really. They're more of like
I know they're not freaking fan fictions.
we take one thing and then another, and then we just keep adding onto this massive pile till you get this massive story that involves multiple moving parts and multiple different incidences that are also labeled in whatever. And yeah,
Yeah.
like for instance, there's one that is called the Almost Cold War. I think that's what it's called. I was reading it a while back. It was really good. It was about the Russians trying to weaponize a nuclear warhead so that it would go off if it stopped receiving their radio broadcasts and it would just launch. Or if anybody tried to get anywhere near the silo. So basically, the warhead was kind of like suspended in the sky, like the missile was, and it was already like the closer somebody or any living creature got to it, it would go higher and higher into the sky until it fully took off, and then would start a literal nuclear war because it was designed to um, override all of the targeting systems with in not only the Soviet Union's missile silos but also America's, and start firing off all the missiles. And the reason why it was called the Almost Cold War was because the Russians had lost control of the area, and the SCP Foundation was obviously trying to help them. Because anyway, long
Yeah,
story short,
the only thing I could find
Russians
is
are really bad.
the Coldest War. I could not find the almost Cold War. Probably just mix up of names though.
I can't remember what it was called. I'll quick pull it up because I know what it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I guess we'll go into another one. I guess another recent one is the Walton Files.
Oh yeah. That one's...
Walton Files, even though it's like FNAF based, it was pretty good because since there's like a story.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. They a pretty good story going. It's just taken a little while to put out the videos.
Yeah.
Oh, I just found it. It's SCP-1178, and let's see if I can find the story.
SCP-1178.
Yeah. Oh, here. It's called The Coldest War.
Yeah, so it was the Coldest War. I was right, man.
Yep.
I was right, dog.
It's got a lot of stuff going on, but it's pretty good,
Yeah, good read.
Yeah, I love how they just have like how they always have like the universe, introduction to the canon, and then all that stuff, because it's like, all right, so now we know what it's going on, and then it's like, boom, here you go, here's all the links, and it's like, yes, now I know what's going on. Anyway, ever want a good read, there you go.
I think like with the Walton Files, I think even though it started out pretty rocky with like just like kind of like a catalog of videos just have that kind of introduce the story. Like once it really got into the story got really good, but I'm unsure if it's how it's gonna go because it looks like it's probably gonna end soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're gonna try to end it rather than stretch it out.
Yeah, I don't see any more story for that one. Like, I don't know. Any of the other analog horrors
That I can think of.
There was the one that was like based in Minnesota. I didn't
Really?
even like look that one at all. But like I don't know. I guess I'm kind of proud of my state then. But what the dog doing? Yeah, like What do you guys think of like overall analog horror?
It's good when you find the right stuff. 'Cause
Yeah,
sometimes I think that sometimes you can find ones that are too cheesy or too just strange.
yeah. I've been noticing
And
a lot. It's
sometimes they
yeah.
can you can even find ones that honestly like not gonna lie, kinda like a good scare every now and then, but I don't need to be like staying awake for weeks on end thinking about some of the shit that people put out there. You know,
You're just not immune.
paranoid. You know, I don't want to be terrified for the next week.
Yeah, I think
Looking over my shoulder
yeah.
and shit in the middle of class, like I sense a disturbance.
Almost a schizoid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot when like those analog horror type videos pop up on YouTube now.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of them are like the same story almost, and a lot of them are garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It-
Like
but
if you're gonna put anything like that on YouTube, just don't make it garbage because I mean that's just a free platform so everybody can see it and since everybody can now see it, it's gonna get
honestly, I
criticized
want
a
to.
lot harder. So if you're gonna put anything
Yeah,
that's meant to be any form of quality, just
I think
make
if
it your
someone wants to
best.
make a good one, even though it's not going to get a lot of traction, if they're ballsy enough, they should put it on Vimeo and Vimeo only.
Oh yeah.
I think they're just trying to hop on the trend at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I think like there's a different aspect we kind of like introduced, like with like the written analog horror with SCP stuff and the more video type analog horror. The the written analog horror is better, but the video analog horror tends to be
More visual, like you can
more. It's
actually
more
like
visual, but it tends to be like I'd say worse.
yeah, cause yeah.
You're not gonna scare me. You're not gonna creep me out from the fifth time you've shown a scary thing on VHS tape.
Oh yeah. But like with the written stuff, like you could have like photos and shit thrown in there. Like take for instance SCP. Now we got this very long chain, and now you're showing me all these creepy incidents and shit that's happened with whatever's going on. I can see this very blatantly obvious, just absolutely obscene photograph. Which, by the way, worst one ever is that weird chicken one. I can't remember its name. I'll post a photo of it and lounge. It's the worst I think I've personally ever seen. Like nobody could even try and top that on YouTube. And honestly, like the story behind it is even worse. So yeah,
Actually, I haven't really seen much of the SCPs, and I really want to get into
here
them.
I'll just
Yeah, it's a long rabbit hole.
Yeah, I've heard.
31.99. That's what's called here. 31.99. It best advice for you.
God,
Stick
you didn't even
to a
post.
lot. No, I'm pulling it up right now. The image.
Yeah.
Best advice for you, Gary, if you want to get into it, is start out with the legacy ones, which is like 0 through 1,
Yeah.
and then go up from there. Just work your way up through the numbers. Skip the ones that you don't find any real interest in because there a lot of the legacy ones are kind of like the, I guess, the basis for everything to come. Basically,
Yeah.
it's all kind of just the great build up. There you go. That's good old fashioned 31.99 right there in lounge.
Yeah.
For all
The
of
only one I've
legacy.
really like actually heard about or seen like games about is like the SCP-03 something. It's like the one where the guy keeps walking down the stairs. Like
I think that's 032. Yeah, it's like the
yeah.
infinite staircase, and you keep hearing like a child's voice at the bottom, and you're like,
Yeah.
what did that do? And then once you get to there's like a face or something, and then once you get to the bottom, you die or something like that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think one of the really creepy ones is you can find on YouTube like the EAS scenarios for it. One of them is you do not recognize the bodies in the water, which is an SCP that's a cognito hazard that causes anybody who's exposed to it to recognize a body in the water, any sort of body of water, big, small, doesn't matter, and then they'll try and go save them. Well, they aren't actually in the water, and the result is they drown. Not very fun.
That's
Like at
interesting.
all. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 087.
Wait,
I have no idea. I can't. It's been a while since I've looked at stuff.
out of 10, like what would you rate the like analog horror genre as a whole?
I think Prime, it's a good 8 out of 10, but right now
Yeah.
it's probably 6.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. It's just
washed.
got full of too much.
There are
shit,
some
you know?
gems.
Yeah.
You did, even though most of those like gems probably have probably long passed. A lot of them are shit still though, but who knows? I'd like in its prime it'd probably be a 9 for me, but
Yeah.
like now, like a 4 or a 5. Like that's how low it's gone.
Yeah. I agree.
Mandela Catalog is a real disappointment. Even though like so many people are talking about it right now. Kinda got overhyped. But I guess not really overhyped, but more like got it's not living up to its standards, I'd say, of other ones, which is kinda not the right thing to say, but it is what it is. Yeah. Any last kinda like statements on analog horror?
I think so.
I think we've said that SCP is probably the stuff you should guys get into, but
Yeah.
kinda
If
steer
you really want
clear.
that broad stream, I mean, it's got the good horror, and then it's got the bad horror, and then it's got I wouldn't call it exactly horror, but nice things like
A bit of
um
memery.
no, a little bit of that, yes, but like for instance, there's one that's about uh Here Be Dragons. If you ever heard of that story, that one is really sad. It's basically about the world of magic and dragons. And anyway, the dragons live in this box because it's the only way into our world. And the box is basically dying because it once was a great room in which they could actually freely enter our world. And well, the box started shrinking to the point where they started coming out as little paper dragons. And eventually, war broke out in their world because the different races or whatever really wanted to come into our world and figure out what was wrong with the gateway.
Yo,
And
there's more
Racism.
races coming
survive, and
into our world.
the dragons tried to stop them and weren't very successful, and huge war broke out. And now it's where can't remember what it now says. The box anyway died, and there's a bunch of stuff left on how to get back to the world of magic and how they'll never forget us and stuff. And it's really sad because in the SCP universe, there's not a whole lot of safe classifications, and that is one of them. And it was just a really sad story. I'm kind of butchering it, but yeah. Like, I mean, not all of it's horror. I mean, some of it is a really good read,
A
but
good
a
mysterious
lot of
read.
it is horror. Like, they got shit from like conspiracies about the Habsburgs and how weirdly deformed their family is to having them in
And their
crypts and
chins.
shit. They actually did have one that was about that. It was really
Yo.
fucking bad. I can post a link to it in the staff lounge, so you can read
Only
it.
the
Horror.
staff lounge though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That
It is
bad.
it is really bad. I mean, like horror wise, like it is not a light read if you read the incident reports on it because it's kind of fucked up. All right, that's my final word.
Yeah. I think now we're done with the analog horror. I think we can move on to the favorite part of the podcast for everyone. That weekly music.
Boy.
Anyone
Ooh.
want to go first?
I could.
Yo, go first. What that dog doing? I've been listening to a lot of music lately. Well, a lot of new music lately, so kind of had to look back.
You might want to move Pancake up here.
Yeah, 1 second. There he is.
This one takes a little while, as usual. This is
How long?
Virtual Dream Plaza. King of Love.
Yo, feeling of pre-segs.
Go.
Kinda strange.
Very faint.
Yeah.
That's
I had to
because it's
turn up the
Virtual
volume so I
Dream
could hear
Plaza and it takes like at least a minute to get going.
We're here for the
But
whole song.
I wish
it.
there's a skip feature.
Like a sync
Pancake.
into the track.
Yeah.
Yo, any of those that music bot devs and with the whole YouTube scare, make a seek feature.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna pay you, but we'll
We'll
like
appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate. You will have our respect. Starting to come in, I think.
Finally.
This is really the feeling of love. It's a yes or no question.
Oh my god, this song is 31 minutes long.
Yep.
Damn, this could have been a
That's gonna be a
guest
problem, bro.
guest podcast. But the guest is the video. No, Gary?
I just lagged. Like the last 10
Yo.
seconds.
You lagged. How much ping you got?
Now it's back to normal.
All of it.
So, is that
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay, we have Perish by Your Discovery.
Is this yours?
Yep, this is mine. I kinda unintentionally planned to have this song. It kind of fits the narrative of a bit, as if it was like
Yeah, I can see that.
The dude keeps saying, I don't have to be judged blank something about I don't have to be judged, I don't have to go to hell, which is, I believe it's from a preach of some sorts.
Wait, who is this song by?
Your Discovery. Found it on Bandcamp like 2 months ago now.
Reminds me of Golden Living Room.
You guys get used to him saying, I don't want to be used to do the thing. Archibald's are evil.
Wow. You know, I'm not gonna lie, but tonight tell a quick story, guys. We were at our band thing, and our drum line, they started playing one of our drum cheers really slow, and we were all super confused because we thought it was a new song, like a new cheer that they were doing, and just really confused. But I'm not gonna lie, it was one of ours that we had already known that they just slowed down a lot because they messed up. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty
slowed in
groovy
reverb,
bop.
but it's real.
This is a good song.
Yeah. Not Scary's. I mean, Mushy's in
I
Beach
think you're gonna
Boys
like mine.
Pronto. Lyrics.
Oh my god, what did you just say?
Yo,
I said,
I know this song.
You gotta wait till
you know the song because you sing it lyric by lyric.
I don't know
wait
that.
like 30 seconds for it to actually start to hit.
There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all.
Did you know
Bodies in the sand.
What?
that is a hashtag read?
We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of the steel drum band. Down in Kokomo. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go to Kokomo? You can play it fast and then we'll take it slow.
Great clean.
That's where we wanna go. We gotta go Martinique, that Montserrat mystique. We'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails and moonlit nights. That dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical
Island
contact.
vibe.
Way down in Kokomo, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go?
Go that Bermuda Triangle.
Yep. Not gonna lie, Beach Boys. You want this classic? Add to it, you gotta go.
Like classic, almost 60s rock.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm sorry. I prefer Beach Boys than Elvis any day of the week.
It's kind of like that,
Like, they just got this vibe, you know?
yeah, it's like the jukebox pops. I'm like,
Yeah.
like a 60s / 50s theme background. Okay. Looks like a space age.
They sing a lot of, like, where Beach Boys is known is called the Honey Beach. It's in California. And
I'm not
it's-
there from Long Beach.
Nope. It's the Honey Beach. The Honey Beach is on the Highway, which runs right down Hardy Strip like that. You know the Chinaman Theater that's right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Tahini Way. And so they actually have quite a few songs that are about Tahini Way and Tahani Beach, and they also have, which is really funny because they have a couple songs that are actually named after my mom, and my mom's like, no affiliation, but still kind of funny because that's obviously my last name is.
Horror
Yo,
dogs.
we're gonna have to cut this out, dog.
I'm
What?
sorry, bro, but it's
Yo, R.I.P. Gary in
Good.
the ending.
I don't really care, bro.
That's
It's not
your
like the-
fault. You're gonna dox Saul.
I won't dox you because you already doxed yourself.
My last name is Shartman.
Yo, my last name is No More Regis 45.
Yo, you have numbers in your last name? That's
Yeah, I'm that good. I'm that slick. Anyways, I think we can end it off there. Any last statements?
Do with it what you will.
Regis.
Yo, guess what? Who might be the guest next week?
Who?
What?
It might be Rex Regis.
I hope
No.
not.
Hashtag. If you guys watch that next video, make sure to dislike. Even if I say like the video at the end of that podcast, dislike it. Just because Regis is there. Mark my word.
Okay, now I'm gonna find somebody to replace Regis.
Yeah, and also that is the season finale for season 2.
What?
All right, we can end it.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
R.A.P.